Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit. Just about everyone enjoys tacos, some more than others. Whether you fill them with ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey, seafood, or use a hard shell or soft shell, tacos are very delicious and very customizable. Is customizable even a word? But the delicious, highly seasoned tacos most of us enjoy aren't even real authentic tacos. I realized this about 15 years ago when I found a dumpy hole-in-the-wall Mexican restaurant that has probably the most authentic and delicious Hispanic dishes I've ever had. There's an old saying about Chinese restaurants that goes like this. Do you ever see very many Chinese people eating in a Chinese restaurant? No, because it's not authentic Chinese food. Well, if you ask yourself the same question about Hispanic people eating at this restaurant, the answer would be yes. 95% or more of the patrons in this restaurant are Hispanic, and they eat there because it's authentic food. Well, when I discovered this restaurant, I also discovered real tacos. And they are absolutely nothing like the tacos most of us call tacos. They're very simple, not overly seasoned, and filled with different meats, and very simply topped with onions and coriander leaves, along with fresh sliced radishes and cucumbers on the side. They're not loaded down with a bunch of lettuce and tomato and cheese. So today, I'm making smoked pork tacos as authentic as I possibly can. I'm guessing they'll kind of be like Tacos Al Pastor from what I can tell. I apologize to my Hispanic viewers if I'm wrong. But I know you guys, you'll definitely let me know if I'm wrong. I'm going to be using two 2-pound pieces of boneless pork butt, also known as the pork shoulder. I'm just going to throw together a rub for today's pork, no recipe or measuring. And we'll just see how it turns out. I had a scarce amount of kosher salt and pink Himalayan salt left, roughly about a tablespoon each. So I added that into the bowl, followed by 2 tablespoons of turbinado sugar, 1 tablespoon of coarsely ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of granulated garlic, 2 teaspoons of granulated onion, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of cumin, and 2 teaspoons of oregano. We gave it a good mix, and then gave it a taste. And it needed some heat, so we added about a half to 3/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which gave it a nice little pop. I dumped all of the rub into the empty salt shaker, and then very generously dispensed it onto the pork. Once that side was seasoned, flip the pork over and season the other side. And just make sure you get into all the cracks and crevices of where the bone was. Then flip the pork back over and add more seasoning. Then the pork goes into the refrigerator for an hour or so while we get our grill ready. I'm using my Grill-A-Kong for today's cook, but any grill or smoker will work for this. I'm using lump charcoal, but charcoal briquettes or a gas grill will also work. As you've seen before, I usually light my coals with a hose torch, but today I seem to not only be out of salt, but also out of gas for my torch. So I'm going to use my other preferred method of lighting my coals when I'm out of gas, and that is to simply take a couple of paper towels and fold them up until they're a small rectangle, and then place it into a ramekin or a small bowl filled with vegetable oil, and let the paper towels absorb the oil. Once the paper towels have sucked up all the oil, place your homemade fire starter in the center of the coals and light it. Let it burn for about 10 minutes until you have a nice bed of coals lit. Then add your smoke wood. Today I'm using 3 small pieces of apple wood. We're going to be cooking this pork low and slow over indirect heat. So after your fire is going and you've added your smoke wood, add the heat deflector, and then of course your grill grates, and make sure you clean your grates unless you want some of last week's barbecue as well as this week's barbecue mixed together. That sounds pretty gross to me, but believe it or not, some people don't clean their grill grates. Then close the lid of your grill or smoker and adjust your vents accordingly to preheat your grill to 250 degrees. Once your grill is settled in at 250 degrees, add your pork. Then close the lid and let it smoke at 250 degrees for about 2 hours or until it gets a nice color and bark. After 2 hours, our pork was looking fantastic with a beautiful color. Now this pork is a little bit leaner than the pork you buy in the grocery store. So I wanted to retain all that delicious pork fat, so at this point, I decided to foil these little beauties. Once they were wrapped up tightly, they went back on the grill until they were tender. After cooking for 2 hours in the foil for a total cook time of 4 hours, our Mexican style pork is ready. Look at all those wonderful pork juices. And the aroma, it was incredible. It was hard not to turn the camera off and eat right then. Just like you would normally do to make pulled pork, take 2 forks and begin to shred the pork to your liking. I like to have a mixture of finely shredded meat with some decent sized chunks mixed in. If you shred it all real fine, it'll dry out real quick. Look at how moist and tender the pork is. Yes, I'm guilty of taking too many test bites, but I did it for you, the people, so I could tell you how delicious it was. Once all the pork is pulled, give it a couple taste bites. Then add more of the seasoning to suit your taste. The pork was amazing on its own. Very moist and very tender and packed with natural porky flavor. But the rub we threw together was really good too. But something really spectacular happened when we put everything together. We made today's pork tacos to make them look and taste as much as we could like the authentic Mexican pork tacos from our local Mexican hole-in-the-wall. And I've got to say, they were phenomenal. And better yet, I think they were almost as good as the authentic ones from the restaurant. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you give this recipe a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.